Welcome in. This is Heart of the Moon. Another video in the recap series. But what of our center place? What if we left everything to chance? Then let's assume the world is not a guarantee of anything at all. To make things straightforward, there's only two possible outcomes. Imagine a line runs down the middle of an odds spreadsheet which keeps track of the events of your life. Isn't that a center place? Welcome to your fate. Just so you know, the moment you stepped in, nothing has changed. Which means the hand of fate controls all outcomes.
Wow!
Still want to go on?
Yeah!
That's great. Here are the terms. Over to you. An event is equivalent to one coin toss or one die roll. A sample space is the set of all possible outcomes. For example, the sample space of a six-sided die is the set of numbers 1 through 6. In this experiment, the odds of a coin toss are 50-50, which means there's a 50% chance of side H as the outcome, vice versa for side T. A jointly complete event is one trial, such as one coin toss or one die roll, means the event prior to rolling considers all possible outcomes of the sample space, ensuring at least one of the outcomes of the sample space must occur. Oh! Are we there yet? While our production team fine-tunes the airwaves, let's take a look at the benefits of this travel plan. Take it away. Up late, sleepless nights, well, maybe you're in a loop-de-loop of which way do I go. But with this plan, forget about your problems. The hand of fate knows the way. No more sleepless nights.
Woo!
Isn't that great?
Woo!
Wait. Nice. We're back up, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready for you. Call it out. It follows. Jointly complete events. Multiple coin tosses. Means the set of events prior to the coin flips considers all possible outcomes of the sample spaces collectively, ensuring at least one outcome of each sample space must occur. For example, in a hypothetical roll experiment, one event considers the sample space all the possible outcomes of the even and odd numbers of a six-sided die. Then it said the event is jointly complete because the event exhausts all the possible outcomes of a six-sided die. A contrary example, a new experiment. Prior to rolling, the event considers the even 2 and 4 and the odd 3 and 5 numbers. Then it said the event is not jointly complete because it does not exhaust all the possible outcomes of a six-sided die. In both experiments, even though it's a six-sided die, the odds are 50-50 because in every event, the outcome is either odd or even, and vice versa. Keep going, you're on a roll.
Woo!
Thank you. Next, the term mutual exclusive means no event can produce an even and odd outcome both simultaneously. In both experiments, each event is mutually exclusive because the occurrence of one outcome, an even, prevents the occurrence of the other, an odd, and vice versa. A contrary example, in a new experiment, if the event prior to rolling considers all the even numbers and a multiple of 3 on a six-sided die, then this event is not mutually exclusive because you can roll a 6, simultaneously both even and a multiple of 3. Also, this event is not jointly complete because it doesn't consider the entire sample space of a six-sided die. It's all yours now. Thanks, team. Do you consent to a new experiment? What if I don't?
No!
Just a minute. Don't you know? It's International Give Someone a Break Day. What if you don't? You get a break of a lifetime to do the impossible. Roll a one-sided die. One event, sample space, one. Now how about that? I consent. Like, do I have a choice?
No!
Ha ha ha! Very funny. Of course you have a choice. Then, if you accept the travel plan that's been offered to you, your fate will be determined by a set of events. The experiment will simulate coin tosses, jointly complete, and mutual exclusive events. Sample space 2 of 50-50. Break it down. You bet. The experimentee will get yearly statements of the experiment, listing all of the events, odds, and outcomes on a spreadsheet. And then, as fast as you can flip a coin, life will be changed. We're out of here. Sounds good. What if there's more than 2 possible outcomes? Get this guy. Impossible. The hand of fate will always know. Ladies and gentlemen, it begins. What if instead, the moment you stepped in made a small variance? Implies the hand of fate does not control all outcomes. Take, for example, some studies have shown in coin toss experiments, if enough events are done, then a 1% biased outcome becomes apparent for the side that started turned up. If any experiment used the classic way to flip a coin, if for every event the coin started with heads turned up, then a bias for heads will become apparent over a large set of events. In other words, the odds will change to something like 51-49. Put differently, the coin tosser can introduce a bias into the event simply by choosing what side is upwards before the flip happens, which puts case 1 into question. Is it even possible to have a fair coin toss experiment?
Hey!
Consider a dichotomy. To make things easier, we're defining it as 2 contrary parts. For our intent, with the condition, the separation must start as a point, such as harmony. For example, we often witness opposing political views which divide people, but the essence of harmony remains unchanged. In that way, harmony is a constant. By default, the election harmonizes the separation because a change in policy may affect everyone. Another example, the notion of justice in its purest form is a dichotomy. Blind justice refers to fairness as being the constant. Often, the attorney and defendant have contrary views. The judge obviously represents the constant fairness, as above, by default, filtered through fairness. The ruling is supposed to settle the separation between opposing views. But what about inner conflict? For example, a separation of career choices could be quantity versus quality. Here, the constant is you or me. If you take the place of the hand of fate, you decide the election and ruling. You define what's harmony and fairness for yourself. To clarify, the sample space of a dichotomy is the same as a coin toss, which is 2. It's jointly complete. That is, prior to us making a choice, the event considers the entire sample space. It's mutually exclusive. Choosing one will prevent the occurrence of the other outcome. Or simply, you can have coffee or toast, but not both. In the previous video, in the Libra New Moon, the event of the North versus the south nodes is a dichotomy, which coincides with the definition of what we just said. Or is it? Let's see if it is. Recall the phrase, find your center place, which some of the viewers could resonate with. We believe it has a practical meaning, simply balancing our energies, or inner peace. Previously, a new moon reading, a message for the upcoming full moon energy, what to bring into the light, which could include a celebration. The follow-up reading to the Pisces full moon oracle was the Libra New Moon Oracle. We called it the Dichotomy spread. Roll video bite.
I'm talking about the conjunction of Saturn and the South Node. This is a dichotomy. Saturn wants to keep tradition. The South Node wants to bury it. Wants to bring traditions down south.
Which was, two energies are contrary to each other, and then two more energies are processed through them to find out if the oracle said anything at all. The constant is Saturn himself, and anyone who else may have energized the star aspect. If we assume Saturn is part of the world's domain, then the world card makes spiritual sense, because each planet is represented by their own card. For example, Uranus rules the Fool card, Venus rules her own card, the Empress. Except Earth and Saturn do not have their own cards. Rather, the Earth card is ruled by Saturn. In other words, all the information that's available to us shows the world's default energy is influenced by Saturn, the constant, or point of the dichotomy. Talking about a non-mutually exclusive event. It should be impossible, though. There's the issue. Saturn is a constant for himself. For Earth, it's more of a default energy. But there's a way to settle this contradiction. But it's totally up to someone's free will. Roll video bite of the Libra New Moon Oracle of September 2019. The video is edited for content. To clarify the symbolism of the cards, we consider 7 as truth, 9 as completion.
And reveal our truths to us and to the universe, and then the universe can work with us. Beautiful. All right. We have this non-movement, staying in the place. Time to complete that. Time to end that cycle. I did a bonus reading of Diana+Lenormand. One of the cards Spirit picked was the book. And that book, when I was thinking about it later on, the book could have symbolized a lot of things. Closing the old rule book. Or bringing into light a new rule book. So, we can do the same way. We can close the chapter. We can close this chapter with the 9. Beautiful. The underlying energy. The underlying energy is the bear. There's the south node, and then there's the north node. The north node brings up current issues. While we're revealing the underlying energy, this is the same way of bringing in the north node's current issue. And the north node is in Cancer. So this underlying energy in this reading represents the north node bringing in their current issue to the table. Right now, the bear is going into hibernation. The bear is a symbol of strength. It's a beautiful energy. This bear can provide a lot of food. For a hunter and gatherer culture, this bear can provide a lot of food. but it also has the energy, it lends its energy of strength. This is really symbolic. Everything has a season. It starts to feel tired and then goes into hibernation in the winter. Really good symbolism of bearing things. Really good symbol of a cycle. Bringing things into a completion, going into hibernation, and then after the hibernation, we're set free again with our strength restored. Or in the process. Now this bear, so like if this bear was 400 pounds, it's going to lose about 100 pounds during the hibernation. So it needs to, when it's set free again, it needs to regain its strength. Wow, this is another great symbolism of transformation is this bear goes into hibernation into darkness, and then it sheds itself. It sheds about 100 pounds. So this is really good symbolism of the transformation. It sheds 100 pounds, so it's lighter when it comes out. When truth finally sets this bear free, this bear is lighter because it's gone into this transformation. Wow, beautiful. And we have this overall energy, we have this harmonious energy of balance. Beautiful under this reading. In the beginning, we had this challenge and we were at odds to reconcile truth and a completion, but we use this dichotomy of movement and non-movement as a way to reconcile this opposition with this harmonious energy of their overall number of 8, which is balance, with the current issue, and this symbolizes the North Node of the current issue. But here in this reading, this is the underlying energy of a cycle of death and rebirth, going into darkness or hibernation and shedding ourselves. After we lose about 100 pounds, truth has set us free, and we can move on, and we can gain our strength back. Beautiful. Thank you, Spirit.
Like in the movie Grease, during the dance, the chaperones go over the rules. Then someone shouts, "Up the rules!" That's the South Node. If there's any doubt on what the benefits of the Libra New Moon are, and how to settle the dichotomy as it happened, Star Sirius and Canopus are conjunct the North Node. It's interesting how the ship and Seven of Truth glide into the reading. Check it out. There's a way to settle everything. Star Canopus in the constellation of Carina the Keel, which is part of the star group known as Argonavis, the mystical ship. However, there's still one more thing to balance. But we need to extend the idea. Our choice could branch off into another dichotomy. Then consider the North Node as a constant. One star is brighter than the other, depending on our perspective. From Earth, Star Sirius is the brightest, and Star Canopus, called the southern ruler is the second brightest. What's a good choice for an Earth dweller? Well, that choice is up to you. From another perspective, star Canopus is the brightest of the two. Since Cronus is not an Earth dweller in the strictest sense, from his point of view, a better home upgrade could be star Canopus. Consequently, it's possible for an Earth dweller and someone from the spectral realm to find their center place of peace. Consequently, it becomes possible for the world card to choose Earth as its ruler, a mutually exclusive outcome. Furthermore, that was another sign which convinced us that a course correction was possible. Destiny could be varied. Now, notice star Deneb. Hello, glad you dropped by. We're reading about a constellation, a myth associated with the constellation of Cygnus. The legend of Cygnus and Phaeton. It goes something like this. As friends, they were racing each other across the sky. The race got so intense, they failed to notice they were barreling towards the sun. Unfortunately, both chariots exploded into flames. They came crashing back to Earth. When Cygnus woke up, he desperately looked for his friend. But then, he found his lifeless body at the bottom of the Eridanus River. He was in shock. Not only did he lose his friend, but also, as a mortal, Cygnus was unable to retrieve Phaeton's body. So he implored Zeus for an agreement. Cygnus was transformed into a swan, but now could only live as long as a swan does. Cygnus dove down into the watery depths, retrieved his friend's body, and then a ceremony. Afterwards, Phaeton's soul traveled to the thereafter. The events touched Zeus's heart, therefore placed Cygnus in the sky as a symbol of sacrifice and friendship. Another legend of undying love and friendship. It turns out, years ago, during a mystical time, a couple known as Niu Lang and Ji Nu fell in love. But, unfortunately, a goddess of heaven forbid it out of jealousy. Maybe, but no one really knows for sure. But this is what we know. Her reason, Ji Nu was a mystical being of divinity. Some say a sprite, whereas Niu Lang was a mortal. However, because of their strong attraction, the lovers secretly got married, which made the ire of the goddess boil over. She placed a river of light between heaven and earth that had infinite obstacles to keep the lovers apart. Like the cloud of Jovian, a gigantic dust storm where brave travelers enter but are never seen again. You can still see the mighty river. Certain times of the year, it goes right across the sky. Many people call it the Milky Way. But the legend continues. There's a bird called a magpie of two patterns of light and dark. Every year, all the magpies from everywhere come together at one place for a feast. Some think to celebrate the spirit of friendship, while others think because of the great finger food. Whatever the reason, after the banquet, all of them form a gigantic bridge over the river to reunite the lovers. you'll still find the Magpie Bridge in the constellation of Cygnus. The constellation is full of many beautiful energies, such as nebulae, where stars are born, and what researchers believe to be a black hole known as Cygnus X1. Located near the star Eta, a binary system is detected, an orbital dance between a star and a black hole. They've also detected an energy trail between them, and that makes sense since the black hole's gravity is a lot stronger. It's as if the star is taking a deep dive into its swirling depths. A more well-known reason, the asterism known as the Northern Cross, above us for most of the summer. The tail of the swan is star Deneb, a bluish white supergiant. Then compare the shape of the asterism to the Ankh. Another example of finding our center place, consider the symbolism of the Ankh. The oval means the perfect divine plan. The oval shape could mean a general direction. The horizontal line, or the Magpie Bridge, symbolizes us, the temporal world. The vertical line symbolizes the union of heaven and earth. Plainly speaking, the vertical is the combination of both worlds working towards a common goal. Maybe you've heard the phrase, co-creating with spirit. In a previous video, we went over an example of co-creating. The Spanish Empire and its alignment with the energy of Capricorn. Aligning with the energy of the Dichotomies. A well-known agreement is between Source and Israel, such as, after wandering the desert, the situation balanced itself, essentially aligned itself with the energy of the vertical line of the Ankh. The subscript. For two wills to unite, sometimes it could take some time to make that bridge. The line is back towards the light. Just consider the passage 10, verse 7 on page 523 in Miracles. Quote, "Nothing has power over you except His will and yours, which but extends His will." Unquote. Consequently, we believe that's another example of finding our center place. But what if you did choose case one? Seemingly, the hand of fate controlled all outcomes, but at the core of the experiment, what if there was a variant of a perfect plan? Yes, exactly. Heart of the Moon wasn't aware of the details until later, but the apparent signs gave us a snapshot, like the conjunction between Pluto retrograde, Saturn, and the South Node, a variance to what's written in Revelation. At the same time, coincides with it, such as Saturn has a finite amount of time to accomplish his mission. What was his mission?